With all the rewrites, test screenings, and last-minute edits, it's amazing that any film gets made at all. But every so often, everything lines up just perfectly. Bring together the right screenplay with the right director, cast, and crew, and you just might get a perfect film. These movies are few and far between, but when they come along, you know right away that you found a flawless film. Mulholland Drive. Explaining the plot of Mulholland Drive is like trying to describe a deep and disturbing dream. It leaves you emotional and confused in equal measure. Director David Lynch uses the film to explore the darker aspects of Hollywood and how often our grand goals give way to despair. While you're sifting through all this dream logic, Lynch keeps you glued to the screen with mesmerizing sequences like Naomi Watts' Betty turning standard movie audition dialogue into something genuinely chilling.
You're playing a dangerous game here. If you're trying to blackmail me, it's not gonna work.
It's no wonder that in 2016, the BBC named this surrealist masterpiece the greatest film of the 21st century.
Il n'est pas d'orchestre. It is an illusion.
Manchester by the Sea. Written and directed by Kenneth Lonergan, Manchester by the Sea tells the story of Lee Chandler, an irritable janitor forced to return to his hometown to look after his nephew following the loss of his brother. We don't want to give away too much of the plot, but there's a reason that going home is the last thing Lee wants to do. Every sight and sound reminds him of something truly tragic that happened years ago, an event so horrible he might never recover. Casey Affleck won an Oscar for his performance as Lee, as did Lonergan for Best Original Screenplay. And the two truly deserve their accolades. Every gesture Affleck makes, every line he doesn't say, aches with pain. And while the film is full of uncomfortably comic moments, Manchester by the Sea grapples with grief in a way that most movies wouldn't dare. It's a beautifully brutal film about living with pain forever. The Witch. One of the most disturbing horror movies in recent memory, The Witch tells the story of a Puritan family fighting for their lives when a supernatural force attacks their isolated farmhouse. Director Robert Eggers spent 4 years studying the Puritan lifestyle and reading first-hand accounts of demonic possession in order to write the script as accurately as possible. He also got super involved when it came to sets and props. The costumes were hand-sewn, and the furniture was built just like the Puritans used to do it. Eggers wanted everything perfect, and it certainly shows in the actual movie. By paying so much attention to the little details in every scene, the film fully immerses viewers in the nightmarish setting. Even besides all the props and research, Eggers managed to get incredible performances from the child actors, and somehow found the scariest goat to ever put on film. And if a movie can make livestock scary, you know you've got an instant horror classic on your hands. The Grand Budapest Hotel. In retrospect, it seems like Wes Anderson's entire career was building up to the Grand Budapest Hotel. It's the perfect blend of all things Anderson, from his meticulous world-building and witty dialogue to the melancholy air that hovers over all of his films. The plot involves a lobby boy named Zero, played by Tony Revolori, who comes to work for the flamboyant and foul-mouthed Monsieur Gustave at the Grand Budapest Hotel. As with most Anderson movies, a plot summary doesn't capture the unique wit and unmistakable cinematography that makes Grand Budapest so appealing.
What else?
Zero, confused.
Zero, confused indeed. The plot thickens, as they say. Why, by the way? Is it a soup metaphor?
With a brilliant lead performance from Ralph Fiennes as Gustave, the Grand Budapest Hotel is a fanciful breath of fresh air. It's proof that style and substance can go hand in hand. Creed. Ryan Coogler's Creed isn't just a great Rocky sequel, it's a great movie all on its own. Michael B. Jordan puts in a jaw-dropping performance as Adonis Creed, the son of the late great champ Apollo Creed. Adonis is eager to fight and desperate to prove himself, and he turns to the legendary Rocky Balboa for help. As Adonis boxes his way to a title shot, director Ryan Coogler builds on the franchise mythology in exciting ways. And then there's the moment when Adonis goes to battle the champ, and the famous Rocky theme starts playing in the greatest nostalgia-fueled moment of the last 20 years. Jordan is on his A-game here, giving us a hero who's not a Rocky Balboa clone, but a young man with his own issues and dreams. Creed was an underdog movie that defied everyone's expectations, and it can hold its own as one of the greatest sequels of all time. Silence. In 1988, Martin Scorsese took a new look at the Gospels with The Last Temptation of Christ. And nearly 30 years later, Scorsese returned to religion with Silence, a movie about a man's crisis of faith when it seems he's been forsaken by God. The plot involves two Jesuit priests, played by Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver, who sneak into Japan to find a missing mentor who has supposedly abandoned his faith. When Garfield's priest is captured, he finds himself confronted with a difficult decision: recant his faith and risk damnation, or watch as his fellow Christians are tortured to death.
Think about the suffering you have inflicted on these people, just because of your selfish dream of a Christian Japan.
Silence is beautifully shot by Rodrigo Prieto, who contrasts the beauty of Japan with the brutality of crucified men drowning in the sea. Ultimately, Silence explores the nature of faith, how it can inspire both hope and cruelty, and how it can rip apart lives and give others the strength to soldier on. Get Out. As Jordan Peele famously said on The Late Show, Get Out is a documentary.
You've submitted this to the Golden Globes as a comedy.
I submitted it as a documentary.
It's a fictional version of the horrors Black people experience every day in America. The story follows a young Black photographer named Chris, played wonderfully by Daniel Kaluuya, who goes to meet his white girlfriend's family. From the moment he shows up at their estate, everything seems off, and it's hard to tell if it's casual racism or something more overtly sinister. This is Peele's directorial debut, but he shows himself to be a master at drawing out the tension until everything explodes in a bloody mess of jujitsu, teacups, and deer antlers. Although Peele is best known for his comedic work on Key and Peele, Get Out shows that he's even better at terrifying an audience than he was at making people laugh. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Michel Gondry is a director known for his whimsical imagination. Charlie Kaufman is a screenwriter known for his witty pessimism. When the two combined their cinematic powers for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, they created an all-time great romance that took a long, hard look at the ugly side of love and how relationships actually work.
I've been thinking lately how I was before and how I am now, and it's like he changed me. I feel like I'm always pissy now. I don't like myself when I'm with him. I don't like myself anymore.
This inventive romance skips through time and memories as Jim Carrey's Joel re-experiences the memories of his failed relationship. The film doesn't ignore the pain and pitfalls of making a relationship work, and by examining the different stages of romance, this is a movie that changes and grows with each and every viewing.
This is it, Joel. It's gonna be gone soon.